Greetings. Welcome to Ridiculous. I'm seeing who's out there. Anybody available to chat today? Greetings, Azazel Black. How are you doing? I'm doing wonderful. So there is some lag time because I guess, when you're doing live, it's not like when you say something, it processes right away. So I do apologize for the delay, but I do want to say you're the first person who I've actually interacted with during live stream. So I'm like super excited. Like, I don't care if it's one person or two people, but it's just an exciting thing to communicate with you guys versus I upload a video and then I just comment or reply to your comments. So this is like so cool. But yeah, I'm doing well, and it's like it's sunny outside where I am, and I'm enjoying the weather. It's a little bit windy, but let me tell you, today I have like a neighbor who smokes cigarettes, and they throw their cigarette butts everywhere in the grass, and I feel some type of way because I love nature, and it's like, why are you throwing cigarette butts in the grass? But so the reason I'm going live today is like to talk about some of the stories maybe that I posted. If you want to talk about those stories, I'm also just testing out the live just to see, because obviously I don't really know my subscriber base too much. Because when people comment, they're either so like upset, not by me, but the story, So I don't really know what people want to see right now or what impact I can have on people. So I'm just testing everything out. That's what's going on right now. Azazel Black, who is Left Leg Leroy and White Pete? Like, who are those people? I'm sorry, maybe I'm a little bit slow, but who are those people and what's this about special meals? Please let me know. Please just me. So, Azazel Black, you were asking me earlier in the comments section about the husband in the video. The title of the video is Prank Gone Wrong, but it's two stories. So, the second story, you were wondering why the husband was upset at the wife if she didn't actually cheat, like physically, like she almost cheated. And so I was explaining to you that he actually he was wondering why he was still upset even after she confessed to what was going on, and even after she gave him access to like all her passwords and her social media. But you have to think about it. This is real life. In a real life situation, if someone cheats on you and they tell you, even though they tell you the truth, that doesn't mean that it's the whole truth, right? And she was receiving advances from her coworker previously before she actually ended up at his house. So it makes you wonder, why was this the first time her husband was hearing about it? Because everything came to a head, everything added up, you know? And so imagine the thoughts in his head is like, can I actually trust her? You know, she's telling, and think about it. When people tell you something, they tell you what they want you to hear. That doesn't mean they're telling you everything. She might have told him some truths, right? I say some truths. That doesn't mean the all those truths equaled up to the whole entire situation. Think about it. For sure, I believe, this is just me, I believe she left a whole lot of things out. Because do you believe she really just, she caught a cab to that guy's house, so she's paying for a cab. You know, she was already at the bar and he was flirting with her, and then she paid for a cab to get to his house. Like, really? Like, who does that? That, it's like, why is she so desperate when she has a whole man at home? What was she missing out on home where she had to go to this guy's house who she claimed she didn't even like him, and she was getting advances from him at work? And what happened at work where she couldn't alert her manager or who else was in charge about what was going on? So, I don't know. But the husband has every right to be upset, you know, and still kind of question her. So what if she gave all her passwords to him and access to social media? That doesn't mean that person is still being honest with you 100%. Those are just actions just to kind of like stay in someone's life. Like, believe, I know how that works. And mind you, I'm a woman, so, you know, some women will do things that, you know, detailed things to make it seem like, create an illusion, to make it seem like they're doing everything possible for their relationship. The reality is that there are women that are not just, they're not fully satisfied with their relationship, meaning that everything can be perfect, so-called. The guy, the husband, can be great to them. But sadly to say, some of them love bad men or bad boys, whatever you want to call it. They love the taste of adventure, excitement. You know, they like to actually get away with things. And then, you know, they act like Bambi, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. Yeah, that's just a part of like our complex personalities. Women are different from men. That's the reality. We are different. We are not the same. We are not equal in a sense of we are exactly alike. No, we all have our different characteristics. We all have our different traits. And so when it comes to these stories, some people are either or. Some people say, no, leave her for the streets. And some people say, give her a chance. But I'm one of those people who say, you know what? When someone's telling you something, take it with a grain of salt. If they messed up and confessed, that doesn't mean that they told you everything. And mind you, you will never completely know everything. You have to think, what do you actually want out of this relationship? What are the advantages to staying with this person? Because let me tell you, if you are a man, you can, if you want to make babies, you have more time than women to make babies, right? You don't have that ticking clock, you know, And most men, like when they enter their 40s, they're getting women that are way younger. They're probably getting more women than they would have gotten in their 20s or their 30s because men tend to age like wine. Well, I feel a lot of them tend to age like wine because they don't show all the really the stressors on their outside of their body of like aging like women tend to, because women do a lot of worrying, a lot of thinking, and men are just like yes or no type of people. I'm not saying that men don't have debt, but what I'm saying is that most men tend to just be like kind of carefree and just take things light and step by step in life, where women just go deep into things and think about story inside of story and things that maybe don't even exist, you know? So they're actually worrying about a bunch of nothings most of the time. Or if their husband's not doing the most for them, you know, they'll use that as an excuse to go out and cheat and say, well, he wasn't paying attention to me. You know, I thought you didn't love me anymore. Like, you didn't talk to me, or you changed, or you don't show me enough attention. Well, excuse me. The same attention that he was showing you when you got together is the same attention that he's giving you now, but you want him to change. And you think about it, most of the women don't really change for the men. They actually go downhill as they get older and they lose sight of themselves. Like if he when the man will like first meet the woman, you know, she'll be great, I guess, have a nice personality, look nice and all that stuff, and then as years go by, it's like she just turns into some frumpy potato sack with a bad attitude and then wants to use that against, you know, the boyfriend or the husband as if it's his fault. You know, this has to do with what the person is like inside, their character. And so all these stories that I listen to, most times they're not even talking about what's going on inside with the person's character. They're not looking at self-assessment. You know, a lot of the women will say, I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I cheated on my perfect husband. Well, if you think about it, are you perfect for your husband? So let me sorry, let me read what you wrote, Zazel Black. Okay, so because the husband wasn't on his emotional love and physical grind, have these stories changed your perspective on relationships? Well, in my life, I've always been the girl or the woman that people come up to talk to about what's going on in their life. Like at a very young age, people would ask me. So what I used to do was look around me and look at people's relationships and the dysfunction, where I would say, you know what, that's not something that I want in my life. And imagine the women that would be giving advice would be the same ones that have these horrible relationships, you know? And so these stories are just things that I've already seen what happen with people and their personality traits. And I look at behavior. How is the person behaving before the incident occurred? Because there are things that go on in relationships. The way the person is behaving, that will give you clues. Oh, even if this person never cheated, oh, they will still have some cheating tendencies, you know? You think about it, the way the person's mind is set up, especially a woman who is very observant of the man. You know, she'll highlight all the things that he's doing wrong and will hardly ever hear the things that he's doing right until she messes up. And then this is the thing. They want to be like to have men under a microscope. But then when the microscope is turned around and it's on us, it's all bad. It's all bad. Like, I'm a woman, but I see the things that we do. I see the things that we are capable of doing. And until we step up to, you know, take responsibility to our actions, you know, in our contributions in our relationships, rather than just blaming our partner, like, we will never improve. I I totally understand. These are scary, and you know what? I just honestly, my heart goes out to men because I just can't imagine what it's like being a man, especially in the United States of America. Because the way these systems are set up, like women have so many advantages, you know? And like when I met people from other countries, like when I went to university, I would tell them, be careful who you get in a relationship with, you know, because the laws here are unforgiving, especially for men. And if you get in a relationship with a woman and you make a baby with her, you better be ready for some next level drama that you probably will never have experienced in your life in like any other country ever. So I can understand like why it would change your view of relationships, and I think about all the men in my family and the things that they've gone through with their wives or their girlfriends. And also it's like for men who choose the type of women they choose, you have to think about it. Like how much thought actually goes into a man's standard on choosing a woman as far as her character goes. And there are some clear signs, especially if you're dating someone in a relationship, that can tell you, is this actually somebody that it's my end goal to be with? Some people, it's good to just have experiences with them. That's fine. Like if you want to date people and just feel out different personalities and stuff, but some people stick out like a sore thumb, and there are all types of red flags, but men are guilty of avoiding those red flags. And women are not as angelic as they appear to be. Because most times they will tell you, like, in their behaviors, like they're full of vanity, they're full of self absurd behaviors. You have to assess them right away and have some standards. No, don't let anybody push you to marry somebody. Let me tell you, marriage is simply a contract, like a piece of paper. In the US, okay? The way people view marriage is so distorted. It's literally just about some contractual things rather than spiritual level, rather than emotional levels. Like, no one ever talks about the emotional side to that contract, the physical side to that contract, your obligations to your husband or your wife. Because a lot of people in this society, they don't take it seriously. So don't feel inclined to, especially, like, come on, you're a man. So, I mean, you have time. If you want to have children, you have time. Take your time. If it's your time, if that's what's meant for you, it will be. Don't force something that's not meant for you. And it's just not meant for everyone to be married. It's not even meant for everyone to be in a committed relationship. That it is what it is. Exactly. Especially in the US, like the big weddings, the gifts, the act of giving gifts, you know, looking at, well, how much money or finances does this man have, and how can I acquire them? And then you think about it, like, most times the women, they don't have any a dime to their name, and it's sad because society really don't teach them how to get their own things, and they think that the man is supposed to owe it to them. And imagine the men in this country are looked at as if they're just like disposable beings, and it's really sad. Yes, ask your question. And once again, there is some lag time, so like when you type something, sometimes it just doesn't come to me right away. So I do apologize. So you're free to ask your question, Azazel Black. Oh, okay. So you have a young woman between 18 and 21 that wants to date. Well, I would say be weary about that because think about it. At those ages, I think about when I was those ages, and my mind was okay. I was a mature person, but my mind was at that age not really like fully developed, and understanding like what a relationship is and how to act around the opposite sex, and how to present myself and how to be respectful to that person's space and boundaries. So you have to think about, is she ready for something that's next level? Was she groomed to be someone of maturity? And at that age, I don't think somebody in that age group or that range is ready for like a serious relationship, especially not in the United States. So I would say tread lightly with that. I mean, you're welcome to, you're free to do what you want at the end of the day, but I just remember at that age, you know, no, I wasn't ready. You are the age of consent, but your mind is still kind of slow. And women, they say, well, women are more mature than men. No, at those ages, we are still childish and petty. So, are you ready for pettiness? Just look at the world of social media. Most people in that age range, they are on social media, and the level of pettiness towards their partners or relationships, it's kind of like some tit for tat behavior. And they don't even understand anything about confidentiality of relationships. And, you honestly assess her social circle because she'll probably be sharing your whole relationship with her friends or her family, telling them how much money you have, like if you have a job. And sometimes people in those age ranges, those women, they will actually, if you do give them money, be careful because they will share that money with their family or their friends and be whining and dining those people. So be careful. Be careful. They're like predators, honestly. You said me and the lady works at the same place. Oh, that's even. If you work at the same place, I would say no, no way. Never date someone in your workplace. Like, that video that I did with on those nurses and doctors messing around with each other. That stuff never really goes well. They work too close together. You guys know that some of the same people, it can be messy. And if you break up, she's a woman. The things that women can do, the burn of it all. You better protect your neck, protect yourself. And, we can get crazy. So, and think about it, the stalker behaviors, you don't know if she's a stalker or if you guys have a bad breakup. Like, you literally have to think about your end game before anything starts, like a legal way out. You work in different departments, still, you guys work at the same place. That is a huge no, 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 no. And the same way, I would say, even if she lived on your block, do not date anyone in close proximity to you, because if things go sour and you need to escape, you're not going over. They're going to know where to find you, how to find you, what to do to you. Like, no. And for all you know, she's been watching you. It's creepy. I hope that helps. I mean, I don't want to deter you from living your life, and like having a social life. But just set boundaries with her. because sometimes, women, they know you, they'll start to know you so well. Like, we're like natural investigators. We think so deeply about things that don't even need much thought. But that's why we tend to go crazy. We just be thinking about stuff all the time. So this girl, who knows, she could have been plotting to get with you and to get something that she wants from you. So your paycheck, imagine you guys work at the same place, but she will definitely feel like your paycheck is her paycheck. And you don't want that. You're welcome. You're welcome. I actually haven't given anybody any advice in like a long time because I stopped giving people advice. They don't want to take it or use it, or it's people out there that ask for advice and they really don't even consider it. They just want to hear themselves, and they want to do everything to make themselves feel okay with making bad decisions with people. If you tell someone about all the red flags and the signs, it doesn't matter because they're still going to do what they want to do. But those people who they don't listen to their conscience, like, they're lost. You called me, you said grandma. Okay, so you're my grandson then. Azazel Black. My little grandson. I'm like the Reddit grandma, right? So, but I hope everything works out, and if you want to be friends with her, that's okay too. Like, try to get in her mind and see what's going on with her mindset. Yeah, loneliness can be terrible, but I would say, do you do things to work on yourself? Because if you're looking for companionship, there's a difference between, having a friendship with someone or like a romantic relationship. And you have to discern which one are you looking for. Because right now, the way this society is set up, a lot of people are financially in holes, and sadly, people's spending habits contribute to their bad fail relationships and their failures. So you guys work at the same place. Think about it. Women, a lot of times, we think about the financial aspect of relationships first of all. And if she says that, oh no, I'm just looking for love and companionship, that's a lie. That's a lie. Most times, they're looking for free meals and handouts. So just listen to the things that she says. If she says, no, I'm not looking, no. Read between the lines, okay? If you want to hang out, have somebody to hang out with, do things with, excuse me, then just be friends. Don't put a title on it. You don't have to put a title on anything. Just say, like, you're just looking to be friends. Like, but if you're looking to be friends with benefits, then that's a whole nother category. Because once she gives herself to you, for an exchange, if you know what I mean. Because a lot of times, they're not giving something for nothing. That's just how life is set up. Like, you're either taking her out, okay? You're buying her things, okay? So, are you ready to have a relationship full of exchanges? Look at her maturity level. Is she ready to have a friendship with a grown man? Think about it. Okay, so you just want someone to wake up with and go to bed with. Well, you better get yourself a teddy bear. Cause it's not all cherry. It's not all like wonderful and beautiful. The idea of having a relationship, when you do things with that person, I'm not sure like your experiences with being with people in relationships, but let me tell you, the first stage is like the honeymoon stage. Everything is great. You guys are so called in love or like each other, lusting after each other, but that's gonna die down. You guys are gonna start seeing things with each other. A lot of times, the woman will be the one that will start just like instantly pointing things out and saying, I don't like this, I don't like that. Okay. So if you're ready for nagging and all that kind of stuff, and you have to think about it, are you ready to live with this person? You said you want to wake up with them and go to bed with them. Are you ready to live with this person? Okay, you want the whole plate of grits. You want the whole plate of grits. So you want a committed relationship. Well, you better look at their resumes and their cat facts. You know how we have a car facts? Yeah, look at her cat facts and see what what her history looks like. You know, you definitely don't want somebody who's been like ran through and left to the wayside and had a series of bad relationships, and they're just with you to because they're desperate, because there are people out there like that, with you out of desperation. No, it needs to be mutual. I hope that makes sense. You do? What color is your cat? Coco? You're a cat lover? Black and white, mostly black. That's cool. I don't have any pets. I feel like I have enough responsibilities around the house, but that's good you do have a pet, like to kind of like fill in that little small void. I know they can't replace a whole person, of course, but at least you have a little bit of company. But do you understand where I was coming from with that story of the husband, why he was still upset even after the wife confessed? And how do you feel about his decision? He was confused with his feelings because think about it. That never happened to him, obviously, because he didn't know how to process it. And they also have children together, so that adds another dynamic. He didn't want the house to be broken up and the kids to be separated, from their father and mother type of thing. He wants to raise them in one household. I'm so glad because like there are so many robot Reddit voices, and I'm like, who's out there that would like to hear a human voice? And most Reddit channels that have real voices, they're men. So I feel like this field or this genre is really dominated by men, but that's okay. And I'm fine being in my little corner with my little channel, with my little following. Like it just makes me so happy to be able to talk to other people and like make content where I actually spend time on my content, like at least trying to make a good presentation because I just don't want to just put like anything out there. So I had to learn some new skills to do this. So I hope I'm doing a good job. DNA test at birth. I think that's a wonderful idea. Absolutely, because I know people that I was going to do excuse me. I was going to do a video about this where so I went to university and I met so many students from different countries, and some of them, like let's say if they're doing a master program and their family is in their other country and they want to bring their family to the United States. Well, now immigration office, they have to do DNA tests to bring their family members over, like the children. And I had one friend from a country that he said that his wife got a DNA test for the children, I mean, which was mandatory, and they have 4 kids, and 3 of the kids were not his. Mind you, he had been studying in the US, a university in the US, for some time, like off and on, and then he found out that those 3 children were not his. So imagine he was trying to send for his family, and then that just put an abrupt halt on everything and the processing. So it really changed the game of immigration. People from other countries wanting to come to the United States, whether it's through education or just like they want to immigrate or even coming as refugees. Now the US government requires DNA tests to be done. And that's really messing the families up in their cultural ties. But at the same time, these DNA tests are causing chaos, but they're revealing the truth and how much cheating actually is it's international, it's human. It's been going on since the beginning of time. But this is a whole nother dynamic that people never really talked about, because DNA services weren't offered in other countries, a lot of other countries, until actually recently. And so that was another way for the US government to weed out fraud, because some people used to just get children that from their family or other families and bring them here without them actually being biologically related to them. But now it's revealing a lot of cheating scandals. Thank you. I'm glad that I'm doing a wonderful job. I'm doing okay, I guess. And you said, do I think a man should stay in a relationship even if the child or children are not his? And do you think it depends on age? Well, it's up to that man to make that decision. But I would I would want that man to ask questions about how the relationship will benefit his life. He has to think about himself first, because imagine he can't be, even if he wanted to be supportive to the children that are not his, he cannot be fully supportive until he's okay with himself, until he's strong within, until the paranoia goes away. Because if he stays with that woman, a lot of times that people don't talk about is that the partner that was cheated on, they will have anger built up inside, right? They might say, okay, I forgive you. It's possible. But just because you forgive someone, that doesn't mean you stop feeling the pain. That doesn't mean that you don't have reminders, or you don't have, PTSD behind that. Some cheating scandals have been so traumatic for people that they have yet to recover from. It could have been 20 years later that scandal happened, and they still haven't recovered from that. So everyone is different. Each situation is different. It has so many different variables. But the person who got cheated on, they have to look out for themselves first. Their health on many levels, the physical health, the mental health, the spiritual health, the social health, so many different things. And men tend not to address those concerns with themselves. And that's why they tend to remain broken from past scandals and relationships and so afraid to go forward. I hope that answers the question. And I don't think and I no, I don't think the it depends like it's on the age. It's just that each scandal has different variables and things have to be looked at exactly from those angles. What's going on in the relationship? What's the history? Like to know, to actually really advise someone, you need to know their history. And a huge part of their history is like mental health. Do I think that's a delusion on the part of people to believe that relationships couldn't go wrong? Most times people want to believe that everything will be like a fairy tale. When we're young, we see on TV and the media, we're taught so many things about how love should be, how relationships should be. And a lot of times they're lies. We're shown so many illusions growing up. Like, this is what men should do. This is what women should do. This is what love is. So what we're taught about love and our perceptions, we've been groomed. We've been conditioned to believe that love is supposed to be all these things that we see in the media, and we're supposed to behave by society standards. Like if someone tells you, okay, the wife cheated and she said she cheated because she wasn't getting enough attention. Can you believe though a lot of people will say that they feel sorry for her, cuz she wasn't getting attention. Meanwhile, the person who got cheated on, a man, because they think he's supposed to be strong and get over things and not be hurt, that they fail to actually even listen to men, pay attention to men. And the idea of love is really not really reciprocated to men. Like how to love a man. A lot of times people are showed how to so-called take care of a woman, things to give her, but what do you give a man? Most times, socks. And some unnecessary things but really, who's out here giving men real love, if you know what I mean? They don't think men have emotions, you know? And so that's understandable why a lot of times men don't even know how to cope when somebody cheated on them and they go through something, because society has not cared about them enough to help them deal with situations and traumatic events. So people are conditioned to think that relationships are going to be perfect 100%. Like they never tell you that, you're in a relationship with someone, you're married to someone, how you guys experience love together. They say it's going to be magical. They never tell you how sweaty it's going to get. Somebody's going to fart. Somebody's breath is going to stink. Somebody's body odor is not going to be on point. One day she didn't cook. One day he didn't cook. They're eating takeout. She actually doesn't cook every day. So what we're shown on TV about what love is, he didn't buy her a gift on Valentine's Day. He doesn't care about her. Are you serious? So because he didn't buy something for her, that's associated with him not caring? It's all bad. You said, so is monogamy over and that polyamory is the future? Let me tell you, I worked with someone who used to talk about being polyamorous so many times, and her past relationships were screwed up. First of all, because she used to drink, she used to smoke and do all kind of stuff, and she felt like because she had a bad relationship with her husband or bad experiences, that she doesn't want to be with one person. But I feel like to each his own. There are people who want to share a person, and there are people who don't want to share. So I'm not going to judge people on their decision on who they're going to be in a relationship with. The thing about it is that the betrayal, if you're cheating on someone, then that's unacceptable. It's different if all parties know what's going on and you haven't some kind of arrangement or whatever, whether it's through marriage or not. But when you go on and you call cheating being polyamorous, that's unacceptable. And then for someone who wants to force monogamy on someone who doesn't want to be monogamous, and then get upset that the person has stepped outside when they told them they didn't want to be in a monogamous relationship. So there are people who don't listen. Then you had every opportunity to leave. There are people like that who are mad that their partner does not want to be monogamous. And they say that in the beginning of the relationship. You said you don't want to share your partner. That's okay too. You don't have to share. You if you two have an understanding, then everything should be okay. As long as you have that understanding in the beginning of your relationship, and you talk to that person and you ask them, what do you want from me? What can I give you? What can you give me? Like, you guys really need to think about those things. Because if you can't figure those things out in the beginning, you probably won't ever figure them out at all. These are real issues that most times in these stories, in the beginning of the relationship, they were never talked about. And sometimes, especially people who were high school sweethearts, they'll say, well, we were high school sweethearts for so long. I knew him or her for so long. I know them inside out. No, you don't, because you guys got together when you were young. And you never set those boundaries. You never set those expectations about what you guys are looking for. You just were together because it felt good in the beginning, initially. And now you're upset that everything's come crumbling down. Does that make sense? Grandson, Azazel Black. You said, I'm old school. I'm not cool with this new stuff on relationships. And yes, I get your point on the man and his wife. Okay, cool. You have to elaborate. What's the new stuff? What's the new stuff on relationships? This polyamorous stuff? The sharing of partners? Because that actually is that stuff ain't new. It's just that it's new that people are talking about it. But it's been around. But I know one thing that I do is that I observe the relationships that people have in my family, and I try to think about how I viewed them when I was a child. And some of the things that I looked at that were like cool or dysfunctional, or like why someone behaved in a certain way, or why a relationship turned out the way it did. And it's so interesting when I look back on my childhood, especially I looked around and saw some dysfunctional relationships, or relationships that appear to be happy, that nothing could possibly go wrong, and then later when I'm an adult, I would find out those people had so much dysfunction. So let me tell you, behind the scenes, there's always some type of trouble in paradise. You said yes, no sharing, no. No, it's wild out here. Like the things, it's just this world. How do I say it? It's just so colorful, but there's nothing new under the sun. And you just have to think about everything in terms of you and your place in the world, and what you want to get out of this human experience. But you've asked some good questions though. And I do appreciate your interaction on my channel. I think, when people comment, because I see on some Reddit videos that people don't really comment, they just watch. I mean, but on some other like Reddit channels, like when they have other genres, people are talking in the comment section. So it's like a 50-50, but I do appreciate when you guys comment and you give me, because your comments actually give me insight on how other people think, you know, and how your logic works. And some of your comments I would read and I'll think like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. And a lot of times it's because I'm different. Like, I'm a woman. So sometimes I don't see things in a certain way. But one thing I do try to do is that I just try to, think about, put myself in other person's shoes and try to at least think from another perspective. But I know at the end of the day, I'll never be able to fully capably understand how a man's mind is set up or what he or they go through, You asked me if there's any story that made me cry. No. If anything, it might have been like real life relationships, seeing other people in my family go through things to see them when I was younger. Because when you're a child and you look at, like, especially drama, family drama, and what's going on, that's disheartening. And that affects how your relationships will be when you get older, or how you at least view things, or how you treat people. But reading a story, but there are some stories that really touch me, and I felt some kind of way that I was like, why would they do that to that person? How could she do that to him? How could he do that to her? Like, and I'm like, you know what? Chill out, relax. Okay, sorry. You said, do you think that if a relationship was completely truthful, they would break up? Well, you don't have to tell your partner every single detail in your life, because you guys are individuals at the end of the day. However, when it comes, like, for example, if you were at a grocery store and a woman started flirting with you, and tried to talk to you, you don't have to tell your significant other, your partner, that. Like, that's why. Because, I mean, if you guys didn't do anything and you didn't flirt back, why do you need to say something? That will only create paranoia with that lady that you're with. So you just have to use your discernment. You don't have to tell your partner literally everything. However, if you are someone who you cheated before and you have social tendencies that are just too friendly with people, that you don't know how to set boundaries, then maybe you need to tell your partner, like, almost, I wouldn't say everything, but a lot. just so your partner know how to back you up. Because some people just don't know how to do that. Like they just spill the beans all the time and they just are too friendly. Like one of those stories that the most recent one, the woman on the business trip, she said, "Well, it's my job to travel and, have drinks with people and I have to socialize." So people like that, sometimes they are too social and they use the excuse of, "Well, it's my job, so my behavior is acceptable." Excuse me, no, it's not, because your job, when she was at that bar, she wasn't on the clock, right? When she met up with that guy and went back to her hotel room, she was not on the clock. So was that a part of her job? So people like that, they need to tell people their every moves when they're in relationships or they have jobs, especially where they're in social situations all the time. They don't know when to shut it off. So yeah, those people, those types of people, they need to be truthful and just like tell a lot. But regular everyday people that, they aren't like in social situations all the time, and they might run into somebody at the store or who knows what um at their park or something like that, or at the gym, that you're gonna come across somebody that is eyeing you, that is feeling you. So but that don't mean you have to tell your partner all the time, "Oh, somebody, yeah, they flirted with me." Why? Now you're just being extra, and now you're just creating paranoia in the relationship. And also, it seems like you could be showing out. Oh, so let me tell you from a woman's perspective. If the man is telling me all the time, all these women that are flirting with him, why are you showing out? It just looks like you're gloating, in the same way for the woman. "Oh, this man tried to talk to me," and that you're just trying to make your man jealous. There are sick people like that. They just want to make their partner jealous. So it has to be balanced out. And it definitely depends on the person. But some people, they need to tell it all. Because they don't have self-awareness. It just is what it is. And you said because people in general, no matter, never really tell you the truth. Isn't that lying by omission if you don't tell your significant other someone's flirting with you? Well, see, you can't control someone else's behavior, but if you didn't flirt back, that's a different story. Like, do you want to tell your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife or husband that you flirted back with that person? If you did, then yeah, you should tell them, because that means that you have some cheating tendencies. Like, why are you flirting back with someone, leading them on? Some people don't even know that they flirt. Can you believe that? Like, they think that their behavior is acceptable. That's why, like I said in the beginning, when you're with someone, you need to set boundaries. And when I say set boundaries, you both know how to perform in your relationship. That means that you know how to socialize with other people. Because everybody else is not in a relationship with you too. But when you start including other people in your relationship, and you start treating, for example, the woman, she starts treating every other man like she wants to treat her boyfriend or her husband. So it looks like you in a relationship with other people to me, because you're supposed to get exclusive behavior when you're in a relationship. Things that you do is exclusive. You're not are you community property? Is this community peen? This community organs? People don't think about that. Every day, like on social media, someone's blasting their relationship information. "Oh my gosh, bae just bought me a new bag. Bae just cooked for me. Bae just took me to the mall." Really? Do you need to broadcast your whole life like that? In the same way, for guys who are on social media, taking pictures of their girlfriends' behinds and showing the world. So what, you're trying to make a man jealous, or you want some man lusting after your woman? Like, does that make sense? So some people, they do need to be upfront because they don't have self-awareness. And no, I know I don't think it's lying. It's only lying if you reciprocate that behavior back and it constantly happens. Azazel Black, he said, I hear in a lot of these stories that boundaries are toxic masculinity. Are toxic or toxic masculinity. You know what? That word is just thrown around. Let me be honest. I don't even really know what that means because a lot of people that talk about toxic masculinity, their life is in shambles. They've probably never had stable relationships and they're riding off of some anger towards men. Because have you ever heard the term of toxic femininity? I'm just saying because let me tell you, I'm a woman, so I've been around a lot of women, and there are some toxic women out there. There are women out there I would never let babysit my kids, never let my niece or nephews be around, never let, would not want them to take care of my grandma or anybody in my family because, like, the disgusting behaviors that they tend to do. And, you know, they always want to talk about empowerment. How are you empowered when you're so weak inside? Oh, and by the way, you're also alcohol. A lot of drinking issues with people who don't know how to hold their alcohol. Because if you look at a lot of these stories, you see that liquor's involved. Like the lady that was at the bar. So, mind you, when you drink, you're impaired. So, if you're impaired, sometimes someone who you think is really fine and cute and gorgeous, oh, that's after you've had a couple of drinks. Because if you wake up the next day, you will see how busted that person is. And these are the same people who talk about empowerment, toxic masculinity, or they don't want a man. You know, it's a man's world and that they're tired of these roles that people play, like gender roles. No, I don't even listen to those types of things. Like we're humans, we're just different. That's it. We're just different from each other. And that's okay. But we need to learn how to live in like harmony at least. And everything's not going to be perfect all the time, duh, but we need to actually be working towards being harmonious with each other and being understanding and empathetic and not just playing the blame game. Yeah, this world is very, very toxic. And that's why I'm not even on social media like that. I have Facebook, but I just have it for family, like if they want to contact me through Messenger and stuff, but I'm not like active where I'm like posting status about my every move in life, you know. If I go somewhere nice and or I'm enjoying myself, or if I'm having a bad moment or a tough time or something like that, I'm not sitting there posting it on the world like that. I'm sitting there because it's real life and I'm dealing with it and I'm going through it. And it's a beautiful thing. You said you have a female friend that is 33 and have kids but drinks every day. Do you think she's relationship ready? You said it yourself. She drinks every day. That means that she's trying to escape reality. If you're sitting up there drinking, if you know what drinking does, it impairs you, whether you think you're drunk or not. Okay? It makes you feel a certain high. Okay? So think about it. That means that your judgment on things and decision making skills, you have a high percentage of making wrong decisions when you're drinking. And she has children, so think about it. She's showing them this is how life should be. You should drink every day. That's what you're showing kids. And you know they love to mimic grown-ups. And I wouldn't be surprised if she gave those children a sip of her hard liquor margarita. Uh, And think about it. She's drinking every day. So think about how her body smells. Do you want a woman that smells like liquor? And the liquor is probably seeping through her pores. Think about it. You are what you eat. You are what you drink. So she definitely doesn't smell like a bottle of roses. You don't want somebody smelling like Mad Dog 20. Or some dusty Mickeys. You said she's not drinking in front of her kids, but in the car. I'm sorry, but you know, if she has to drink in her car, that's a sign of guilt. And who knows if she drinks in her car all the time? I wouldn't be surprised if she, because was she going out there, if she lives in a place where it snows, was she literally going in her car when it was -0 degrees outside? I doubt it. She was throwing back a couple of shots in the house. Was she in the closet throwing shots and Jaeger bombs? You say, but she has great yams though. oh, oh man. I don't know. Somebody like that. I wouldn't want to be with somebody like that. Oh, she lives in California. Man, she's probably full of vanity. So I don't know. That's not a good sign. That's not a good look. And I if she drinks every day, I hope she wasn't drinking when she was pregnant with those kids. Yeah, cuz people do that and they normalize it and it's sad. I just can't believe you say she goes to her car. So I'm trying to picture her going to her car every time to have a drink. Cuz imagine if somebody every time they want to go, hopefully she can make it back in the house. And I hope she's not flat on her face drunk in her car. Like that's dangerous. And imagine she just I wouldn't be surprised if she drinks and drives. You know, that's just one step closer to a DWI. Wow, you live in California. West Coast. Whew. Each state has a different type of breed of people for sure. And I don't know, that sounds like some Oakland behavior. Yeah, oh, San Bernardino County? Yeah. I have an uncle who lives in California, and in some of like growing up and just hearing stories or people that he would hang around with, like he's met some shady women. That sounds like some woman that he would have probably like took on a date and then it would have abruptly ended because she needs to drink every 15 minutes. Yeah, that's not a good look. It gets raunchy out here for real. I'm sure it does. And then, I feel like a lot of people have actually been drinking more during this panoramic. That's what people are calling this pandemic, a panoramic. you know, they just totally forgot about reality. My day is going wonderful. Like peaceful, drama free. Yeah, I'm a pretty laid back person, and I just I don't have a social circle like people in my face putting things in my head. Nope, I live a very simple life. Like for me, let me tell you, I'm happy to just go to my local park and chill, like, and everything be okay. I give thanks on all levels. And we have a store called Target. I think you guys have a Target there. Like I might make a trip to Target, drive up and not go into the store because there'd be so many people there, and just run a couple errands, and like I'm so cool with that. A conspiracy, I'm like, you know what? I just look at it in relation to myself. I'm fine. My family members are fine. You know, I did have a family member that got sick, but they recovered well because they were young. And all they had was like a headache and a little cough. So I don't know if that was just like a springtime flu or something like that. But I can't really say about conspiracy because I would need to put on my tin hat for that. Oh, most of your targets are closed down. Oh, our targets stayed open. The only time they closed down was when people were they were doing like riots. Oh my gosh. All type of stuff, protesting and all that for a bunch of things going on, social issues. And that's the only time cuz the windows got busted in like a couple of targets, but they opened back the next day or two. And but they've been Target has been my ride or die. Like they have been there for all most of my needs when I need things from the store, you know. And the service, the drive up service is pretty cool. All I do is on the app order what I want, and then tell them on my way when I'm on my way. And when I arrive, I say I'm here, and then they bring it to my car, and that's that. You know what? I used to go to Walmart like last year a lot, but since everything's been like chaotic, I don't go there anymore. It's just too much going on, and they're always the environment's always dirty, like dirty floors, boxes everywhere. Like I love Target. I call Target Target. J'adore le Target. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I see people pop in and out of the live. So hello everyone, greetings. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. I haven't been to Super Target. What's Super Target about? I've been missing out. Yeah, what's Super Target about? Oh, a Super Target in Texas? Oh, I wouldn't be surprised because everything's big in Texas, right? Or bigger in Texas. They have a lot of people there. I've never been to Texas before, but it would be a place that I wouldn't mind visiting. It's just not on my like list that it's like one of those places like, "Oh my gosh, I need to go to Texas." But my brother, he was thinking about moving there and then he changed his mind. I don't blame him. You said it's like Target mixed with a larger grocery part. Oh, okay, cuz like every Target that I go to like in my area, they have a grocery store part. Oh, but you're saying like it's larger though. Yeah, cuz the grocery part is like pretty, I mean, they have different aisles, but the produce section is so small. I wouldn't mind going to a super Target. I'm going to look that up too. See what it's all about. You said, how come I'm the only one keeping the party going? People, I'm from Houston, Texas, born in Texas, but raised in California. Wow, what a mashup. So there's, I don't know, because guess what? In my analytics, okay, I don't know if you know about analytics on YouTube. A lot of my viewers I see are age 65 and older. So I have people who are like in their mid 20s, ranging to 65 years old that are viewers. So I don't even know if people know how to, some of them know how to live chat, believe it or not. I mean, some of them, yes, they know how to comment, but like live chat interaction. And some people, who knows if they like live stream or chatting. So everybody's different. And some people, they just like to watch the video and comment. And some people, they just don't like interacting at all. They just simply like to watch the video, listen to the video, and that's that. Because I'm learning about a lot more about analytics. And I mean, people 65 and above, most of them are like in retirement. So they just like to chill and they don't want to do like too much. They just like to listen to stories. And that's cool too. But I mean, I'm happy to be chatting with you. That's cool. And I'm happy that actually people dropped in, whether they drop in or not or listen. It's all good. It's all good because there's no pressure. And like when people thumbs up my video, I feel good about that. And if they thumbs down, that's okay too, because what I learned is that those things aren't the all and they aren't the end. Some people actually like or dislike the video based on the story. Like let's say they were hurt by the story, like it affected them. So they felt like, why would I thumbs up this story or this video? It's not like they're giving me a thumbs down. Some people, and especially like with the different age ranges, some people thumbs down because something in the story they didn't like, with OP, the person who posted the story, or like the cheater, something about the cheater, or they have flashbacks about the relationships that they went through, so they thumbs down a video. And I mean, and if there's somebody out there who don't like my video, they don't like my style, that's okay. They have their right to do that. And when how they want to interact, that's on them. Me, I can only encourage people and say like, hey, if you like my channel, you like my channel. It's cool, and I'm grateful if you give a like. And if you subscribe, it's even better. But it's even better if you're a subscriber, like you actually return to my channel. But like if you subscribe and just you aren't active on my channel, then it's kind of like it doesn't work out. Because with YouTube, they want to see that someone subscribed and they're actually interacting. They're actually giving thumbs up or commenting, that way YouTube knows to push certain videos, So, and you know what? YouTube is like so clickish. Like there are clicks, like the Reddit channels, there are some people who just like certain styles. They just like certain voices. Some people prefer the robot voices. Some people prefer the human voices. So I just try not to think too much into it about that stuff. I just make my video, upload it, and like I don't try to be constant with people saying subscribe, like the video, because I feel like that could be clingy and annoying. Like people know if they want to subscribe to you or not, but sometimes every now and then people need a reminder. You said, what topic do I want to talk about? Because I'm sure I could say weird stuff. So wait, why? So why do you say that you could say weird stuff? Do you have some kind of condition where you just be out there saying weird stuff? Please let me know. Please, just me. You say you subscribed the first time you heard my video. That's cool. Were you so over the robot voices that people put out there? Oh, and also I do have a question, like, what's your perception of Reddit channels? Do you feel like Reddit channels are just people stealing content from a social media network site and they're not putting work into their videos. Like, how do you see this? Do you see this as like we just like upload content that's not ours, or just tell stories that are just not ours and it's like easy work? Like, what's your perception of people who narrate Reddit stories? Oh, okay, that's cool. You said you see Reddit, that's it's free use, so use it. Yeah, that's how I see it. Like when people tell their stories online, it's not like you're claiming it and saying like the story is yours, right? Because obviously, we say like, well, this is obviously people say this is where the story's coming from. Like people know where the source of the story is and where the story is. Like you can find it by the title, or some people put the actual link to the story. But me, I blur out people's names because some people on Reddit don't want people to be like pestering them about their infidelity or like their relationship issues. They're fine with people telling their story. They just don't want to deal with like more feedback because they've already dealt with feedback on Reddit. So it's like to deal with more feedback on YouTube can be like overwhelming. So I narrate stories because for one, some people actually don't want to be on Reddit constantly reading through stories, and some people just like to chill at home and just like to listen to stories. It's kind of like books, an audio book or something like that. So each person narrates in a different way, and someone could do the same story, but that doesn't mean the narration will be the same. you know you said you hate the robotic voice. You know what, I found myself like in the beginning, I just thought that's just what it was. Like, okay, these robotic stories, I mean, some of them can be entertaining, but after a while, if that's all the content that you're seeing is robotic voice, and like a lack of creativity, then it gets tiring. So I think it's cool when like there's a balance, and I'm happy to see other people like YouTubers who actually do voiceovers, because sometimes I look at their video and I get ideas, and I look at their style and I say, well, wow, how can I be better? And their videos are helpful. So I look at it like it's all a resource. So, but I just cannot listen to robotic voices day in and day out. It's like so creepy. But some people love it because it gives like some comic relief to some stories. Like you'll hear a robotic voice say something that, like, if a regular person said it, it wouldn't be as funny. But if a robot said it, it's super funny. You said what made me do the background voices in your videos? I just thought to myself, I want to make the video more interesting. I want to make my audio more interesting. So, like, I do that myself. Now, in one recent video, it was like about like Ask Reddit about anesthesia, where his wife is a nurse and he wonders if he'll confess. That video, I just was in a mood for humor and laughter. So most of those voices and laughter, they're mine, but there's some voices that obviously it's a male voice. There's some sounds that I was able to get like from a free website. Some of the laughing a little bit, but I laughed myself and just recorded it, and I'll like narrate myself, like I'll record my own voice and then put it under the track and kind of make a whole like scene. So I just was like, I'm always getting ideas, and I just said this might sound good. So I just test things out, and whatever sounds good or looks good, I love to keep trying different things with my videos. Like if you go back to my videos from the beginning, you'll see the little evolution because I learn things step by step. And a lot of things, like with the programs that I use, I taught myself because I cannot sit there and watch like long 20-minute boring videos of how to do one simple effect, when I could just be experimenting, figuring out myself. You said it's like listening to a short story. It's cool. I'm glad you like it. You know, having interaction with somebody that you don't know that says like, "Wow, that's cool," or that lets me know like, "Wow, okay, I'm doing something right." I guess like because the idea is obviously I want people to see my videos, right? Obviously I'm looking for critique how to be better. If someone says, hey, you narrate the stories too fast, or can you slow down, after a while when I build up my subscriber base and if people say like this is what they're looking for, then I'll try to deliver that, because the whole point of it is like, well, I do this because I like doing this, but at the end of the day, like obviously I'm ready to entertain people because it's entertaining. And also with my skills, it's like cool to see people's reaction to your art. I look at it as art, so I'm producing something and it's cool to get feedback. Would you use a flip phone for $200,000 for 2 years from 1992? Yes, I would. Why not? Because I guess what I was using a very basic phone in 2000, before 2016. I was using one of those small phones. Like I didn't have I didn't really get like one of those digital cell phones until like I think 2015, 2016. I just because I wasn't on the phone like that. And I wasn't on the internet like that, like needing to look up things. I just always had my tablet or my laptop, and that did the job. And I wasn't doing like heavy texting, like sending graphics through text, like pictures or videos or something like that. So I was someone who I just sent basic text, and that was cool. So yeah, but who's willing to give that much money away for that phone? A digital phone. I'm saying, oops, an Android phone. Android phone, because before that, okay, people were using just like basic Nokia phones and stuff. Yeah. Any good music you would recommend? Well, I have to think about that. But I'm going to end the live now. Yes, because now I have to address my evening duties. Yeah, I'll work on a list for you and see, but you also have to let me know like, okay, what you're into listening to, and then I can recommend something. I mean, you know where to reach me, obviously. In the comment section. So, okay, thank you. And I know you're some hours like behind me, but you enjoy your afternoon slash evening, and I'll see you around town.